Good morning, everyone. I'm Pranav Thakurta, founder EduTV, and it's a pleasure to welcome my distinguished guest, Miss Powell, Miss Joanna Powell, Principal of Wales International School, Abu Dhabi. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for joining us.
An
And
absolute pleasure.
Miss Powell has been doing wonderful work in education. Her advocacy for supporting students and for welfare of students is tremendous. And our discussion today is on Primary Years Program or PYP. At EduTV, we are committed to bring global perspectives on education to our viewers across 50 countries. We are also proud to have our academic partner, Yatha Preschool, New Delhi, supporting this initiative. Today's conversation will give us valuable insights into how PYP framework nurtures young learners to become inquiring, knowledgeable, and compassionate individuals. We look forward for understanding the philosophy of implementation and impact of PIP from our esteemed guest, and I'm sure our audience will find this discussion highly enriching. Welcome, Ms. Jonah, and I will start with a few questions. Ma'am, could you share how PYP framework encourages inquiry-based learning in early years and how it impacts a child's overall development?
Yes, it's a pleasure to talk to you this morning. Thank you. What I would say is the PYP framework puts inquiry at the heart of everything, and particularly in early learning. And I think more and more research around the world is telling us that play-based learning is how children learn in the early years. And PYP is definitely something that encourages that, because it encourages children to explore questions and make sense of the world around them. Instead of, I know in my day, we were sitting down at the table and it was copying from the board, and there wasn't any play-based or any inquiry-based knowledge involved in that at all. It looks like it's very much play-based and hands-on. And sometimes I laugh because our parents come in and they say, my child isn't learning anything. I've taken my child home, they get into the car and I say, what have you done today? And they say, I played all day. And I say, no, ask them what they did. So our teachers will frame things in terms of, they're learning the colours, and they will do different things, like they'll play with something, they'll have a red table and a blue table, and they think they're playing, but they're actually learning the colours, and they're so engrossed and so engaged in it that they don't even realise that they're learning. And I think it enables they can learn new concepts very easily, like how plants grow, where a shadow is, by actually doing it physically. So the teacher acts as a facilitator, inspiring curiosity in the children rather than the old-fashioned way, which was just chalk and talk, we call it. So it's a much more hands-on, play-based, inquiry-based structure in PYP. And I think the impact for that is the children are engaged, the children enjoy it, they're learning, and it's much more enjoyable for them.
Wonderfully said, ma'am. Chalk and talk, definitely, ma'am. It's very important and very effective also. Ma'am, my next question in this discussion will be like what strategies and what like activities you make the students do for implementation of PIP framework, ma'am?
I think if I can take it back a step, the most important thing for me, even before you get to the children, is that you have to have the philosophy of inquiry and international mindedness. It needs to permeate your whole school community before you even get to where the children are. So it's not just what happens in the classroom. It has to be a philosophy of the school. You need parents on board. You need to meet them beforehand and to explain that, so that everybody understands what they're doing. Because like I say, we've had experiences where if the parents don't understand, then they won't realise what the children are doing. And then if the teachers don't understand, they'll go back to doing talks. In some respects, it's easier. if you can connect the learning to the children's own experiences and culture. So a lot of PYP is based in real life experience. You need to understand what the real life experience of the children is. And my husband laughs at me because we have grandchildren, and I quite often say to him, my children are really impressed in my school because I can name all of the dogs in Paw Patrol, but it's important to them. So if you can link their learning to something that they understand, something culturally for them, then they'll learn much quicker because they understand the real world experience. You can differentiate the pathways as well in PYP, so you can adapt and scaffold, particularly in when you have English as an additional language. So language proficiency can be an issue, but it means that you can, in PYP through play, not only are they learning about what you're actually asking them to learn in the lesson, but their language proficiency improves as well. And another aspect of PYP that I would say is really important as well is because it's a global thing, the collaboration and the professional culture that it encourages is phenomenal, because you can have training from around the world, you can have peer collaboration from local schools, and it's a fantastic thing to implement in your school.
Wonderful. Very nicely said. I think we have joined by Miss Anubha Srivastava, Principal of Delhi International School, Edge, Dwarka, New Delhi. Anubha ma'am, welcome.
Namaskar and good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all the viewers at the global platform.
Ma'am, I have sent you one background also. No problem. No problem. No
Right,
problem.
I was trying to do that.
No problem. No problem. I will start with, we are in conversation with Madam Joanna Povall, the famous principal from Wales International School, Abu Dhabi, UAE. And now we have been joined by Miss Anubha Srivastava. She is doing wonderful work in PYP, and she has taken up the school, Delhi International School Edge, to great heights. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Pranamji, and thank you for giving this platform to learn more on PYP from the eminent panel members.
Okay, thank you so much. Uh, Anubha, ma'am, my question to is, how does PYP help in developing critical thinking and social skills among students from the very beginning of their schooling journey?
Uh, so I think this is something which comes naturally to all the human beings when they are in the utmost natural environment. And natural environment for any child is exploring things around themselves. Okay, what is a tree? What is there inside the layers of mud? What happens if you pluck a leaf? Will it remain like that? Will it turn red? Will it turn brown? Whatever. So the children learn by exploring their immediate environment. They learn by connecting with each other and connecting to juniors and seniors around them, connecting to the wildlife and things around them, enriching their vocabulary by seeing things rather than reading it on books and seeing an image on the frame. And PYP talks of experiential learning and interconnected learning. So, for a child to learn, it is important to understand that we don't always win, we lose as well. So there are no competitions where you should be making a child win and get a trophy and showcasing the trophy, but rather there should be structured play organized for the children, where they understand that when we are playing, we might win, we might lose, and that's okay. Sometimes I'm winning and sometimes I'm losing. This is a very important social skill. And there are differences in the height, in the structure, in the color, in the way the children are speaking. But in a classroom, when everything is being appreciated and a lot of dialogues are being created around emotions, imagine the kind of learning that the children are getting. In the olden times, when we did not have structured schools, uh, did we have elders who were not groomed well? And the answer is a flat no, unanimously. They were groomed by the seniors in the family. How were the seniors grooming them? The seniors were grooming them by narrating a lot of stories and creating dialogues around the stories. So where the children get enriched. Just a minute.
Very right.
The children get enriched by means of experiences that they are passively gaining from the stories, be it the mythological stories, be it the fairy tales. And for me personally, my most favorite storybook till date is Alice in Wonderland.
Okay.
The amount of
Thank you.
learnings that come from Alice in Wonderland, which I practice till date in my adult life, is beyond measure.
Very
So
right.
these things are more important for a children, and that is what PYP is all about. It is about learning by doing, learning by experiencing things and concepts and structures and people and places, learning by interacting. Books should come to children later when we have already ignited the curiosity to learn. Pen and pencil should come in later when they start enjoying that with the pencil I can draw something also, or I can write my name in a very creative manner. So let them start loving these things and then embracing it, rather than we pushing the children to force to pick a bag, put few books according to the timetable and a sharpened pencil, and you have to go to school, sit on a desk and do certain kind of tasks.
Wonderful. I think very nicely said. And learning by seeing definitely is Anubha ma'am. I really, because I read about Taj Mahal on in books only first. When I saw it, my experience was different. Or I read about test tube, beaker in the book first. Then the first day of my laboratory was very different. Miss Jonah, a very important question from you. As ma'am, ours is a very huge country. In fact, it is said there are 33 countries inside our country only. It's a subcontinent. Ma'am, and PYP is a very important thing. And ma'am, I would like to have your advice. Like you had been helping us for allowing us get a training done at your school in Abu Dhabi from Kolkata on 28th of this month also. Ma'am, how important is training the teachers and how
Oh,
should it be done?
I think teachers are just like children, like Miss Anubha was just saying. The children learn by doing and the teachers learn by doing and seeing too. And I think it's really important to collaborate as schools. And if you have any schools in the area, it doesn't matter if they're doing the PYP program, it doesn't matter what curriculum they're following, teachers can learn from each other. And I think going out there and seeing what's being done, and I say to people all the time, it's not a competition. That the doors are open to schools. You can
Right.
come to our school anytime. I will send my teachers out to look at other schools to see what's happening there. And sometimes you hear, when you have a new member of staff and they're in a staff meeting and they say, oh, in my last school we did this. And some principals don't like that. So they'll say, you're not in your last school now. I love it when teachers say that to me. If
Very right.
somebody gives me an idea and says, in my last school we did this, that's fantastic. We need to have more forums like exactly what you're putting together now. Thank you so much. To discuss how we can help each other around the world, because it's not a competition, it's children's lives. And like I say, teachers learn by seeing and by doing. And you can buy a book on PYP, exactly like you were saying about the Taj Mahal. You can buy a book on PYP, you can read the book on PYP. Like driving a car, you can read a book on how to drive a car, but until you've actually sat in the car and started to drive, you don't understand how to operate a clutch. You don't understand. And I think it's the same in teaching. We can read, I love reading educational books. I love reading all about it. It's one of my passions. I've got a huge bookcase behind me with hundreds of books on. So it's important to read and it's important to learn about theories, but the most important thing is to actually collaborate and to see what's happening in other schools and how you can put it into practice.
Very, very nicely, ma'am. I think teachers can take books and read about PIP, learn from each other. Schools can collaborate with each other. I think it's a time of collaboration only. And my last question of session will go to Anubha ma'am. Ma'am, as you are from India and you have done so well, you know the demography, everything, the diversity of our country also. Ma'am, how we can expedite the process of training the teachers because time becomes also a factor, traveling distance also become a factor. So, what is your suggestion? How teachers can take out time, schools can take out time for training their teachers on these new methodologies and ideas and what is already being practiced in the West?
Uh, I think we are both learning from each other. I'm really happy and thankful to be meeting Ms. Jonah here on this panel. And I was absorbing the beautiful ideas that she is saying. Every panel discussion, every conference that we go to is a learning ground for all of us. Similarly, for the teachers. What I believe is that these learning modules should be short and crisp for the teachers, because today the teachers are across the globe. I've seen that the teachers very easily hit the burnout levels. So, the wellness of the teachers and at the same time making them happy learners is important. So, the modules have to be very crisp so that you can take small modules at various intervals of time rather than having one very long, extensive module
Very right.
with assessment parameters and self assessment rankings also. Certification might go on the LinkedIn platform and die out after certain likes and comments. What stays is what is happening in the classroom, and that is more important for all of us, because being in the education fraternity, we have a very tedious task of creating future citizens who are making going to make the society more beautiful, more peaceful, more harmonious. And therefore, I believe I can give what I have within me. So, for a teacher to have within the teacher the continuous zeal to learn, the continuous ability to take care of myself, to be a good giving person is important. And for me as a school leader, it is very important that when I am designing the modules or when I am designing a teacher training program, I am keeping in mind that the teacher has to prepare for the next day, which is going to be an equally demanding day in the school. So I cannot occupy the teacher whole day. And that is why the first thing I
Right.
said is the module has to be small.
Yes.
The second thing is the distance and the commuting becomes a challenge many a times. Uh, the pandemic has connected us all on the virtual platform. You and me, being in the national capital of India, are connecting with Ms. Chona beyond the capital terrains, which is something, it is at the click of a button. We should provide more such opportunities to the teachers in
Very,
a
very.
time zone that is mutually suited. So when we are designing the module, we should be having in consideration the timelines, which does not interfere with their regular schooling and gives them a little liberty of maybe missing the beginning of the school or towards the end of the school and taking up a little bit of their personal time, and a crisp module that ends and they want to continue it later, they can continue. They want to stop there, they can stop there. So one topic at a time rather than taking one bigger umbrella topic, smaller bunches that can fit into their routines. And before we think of getting into teacher training, gap analysis becomes a very important need for every school. So when we are connecting with a group of educators or group of schools, we need to understand the demography, the challenges of that area, and the learning gaps in that community, so that the course, bundling can be done, so that it becomes a mutually collaborative work. I learn a little from Miss Jona's school, Miss Jonah learn a little from my school, and our teachers become happy bunch of friends for life. That is what I see as a beautiful teacher training program.
Wonderful, ma'am. I think very nicely said. I really appreciate that. Let's have it short and crisp. I don't remember many chapters, but the quotations and other things I remember throughout my life. I think that's a very good thing. And I would also, I think I'll try to set up a thing where Miss Jonah comes to Delhi International School Edge and interact with the students and teachers. And similarly, Miss Anubha comes to Abu Dhabi, UAE, and takes a class and interact with the teachers. That will definitely have a lot of impact, ma'am. Thank you so much Both
Ma'am,
of you,
I would like to add one point here. I'm sorry to interrupt, Pranavji. When I'm saying teacher training modules, it has to be a lot of actionable takeaways
right?
more than theory. A lot of actionable takeaways for the teachers.
I'm sure it will, when both experts like you are there, I'm sure it is going to happen. And I would like to thank everyone. On behalf of EduTV, I would like to sincerely thank Ms. Joanna Powell, Principal of Wales International Abu Dhabi, and Ms. Anubha Srivastava, Principal of Delhi International School Edge, Dwarka, New Delhi, for sharing their valuable insights on primary years program today. Your perspective on inquiry-based learning, holistic development, and innovative PIP practice have been truly inspiring. We also extend our gratitude to our academic partner, Yatha Preschools, New Delhi, for supporting this initiative. Thanks to our audience for joining us. We hope today's discussion will help educators, parents, students, and even teachers gain a deeper understanding of how PYP nurtures young learners to become thoughtful, curious, compassionate individuals. We look forward to having you with us again in future EduTV podcast. Thank you so much to both the young